Hello! Pizza Pax here, and we're back with the third commander deck from Modern Horizons 3. This is Jund Graveyard Overdrive, so black, red, green. Let's take a look at this. And this is the collector's edition. So shiny, so shiny. Let's see. Welcome, Jund Superfans. I think it's kind of funny that they had those little details there, but then don't do things like provide themed life counters and only put foiling on one side of the tokens, which is just incredibly stupid. But it is what it is. Alright, so we've got some tokens here, counters. A lot less than previous, but hey, they're shiny. Woo! On one hand, I'm a little salty about it, and on the other, it's like, oh, wait, no surprise. No surprise whatsoever. The envelope of goodness. Which is supposed to keep things protected. Doesn't do a great job of it, but it's better than just having them loose, I guess. We have our Collector Booster Sample Pack. We're going to toss that up to the side, and that'll have its own video later on. We've got our unbranded, unspecialized life counter. That's just junk. Toss that. Kind of nice tuck box. It does actually have art assets on it, which, considering this whole set was just slush art anyway, like, come on, you could have done something here, like, just, it's like one of the face commanders or something. I'll just make myself mad if I keep talking about it too much. It is what it is. Right, so we've got a nice picture of the face commander, overview of the deck, commander rules overview. Another commander, so Disa the Restless. Disa who? Disa one. Disa the Restless. Disa one. Bad joke. And then pair of ads. That's with all of these. Alright, so we got that handled. Now to get to the thing that everyone's here for, star of the show. The deck. Hey, we are 3 for 3 for actually having a decent pull tab on these. Pretty nice. Looks like they finally sharpened the die for cutting that pull tab. Alright, well, that does not look... Yeah, our white balance is off. There we go. It's amazing how drastic white balance changes things. Alright, so starting things off. We have Disa the Restless 2, and then Jund colors, so black, red, green for a 5/6. Legendary Human Scout. Whenever a Lurgoyf permanent card is put into your graveyard from anywhere other than the battlefield, put it onto the battlefield. Oh no, this combos with so much stuff. Any kind of self-mill plus anything that makes your creatures have all creature types or a specific creature type, so Conspiracy, Masquerade Nexus. Let's see, the evolution thing, that's in blue, so that wouldn't work. There's a number of things that let you give multiple creature types to everything in your deck, and then you can just self-mill from there. So like this could very easily just combo off of anything. Whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, create a Tarmogoyf token. Our boy Tarmogoyf went from being a $120 mythic, originally a rare, because it was before mythics even existed, to being relegated to being a token. So that's a thing. And next we have Corum, the Undertaker. So we got Disa, Corum. Okay, I'll stop. Bad jokes aside. One in Jund colors, so one black, red, green, a 0/5. Okay, legendary human warrior. This gets +X+O, where X is the greatest power among creature cards in all graveyards. Okay, so we can do some cool stuff there. Whenever it attacks, each player mills a card. During each of your turns, you may play a land and cast a spell from among cards in graveyards that were put there from libraries this turn. Oh, that's pretty neat. Alright, we have Snazzy. Terminate. Let's see the nice foiling on these. I think it's a... I don't know what they're calling it. I'm just calling it a ripple foil, because it looks like ripples going across a lake face of water. But Terminate. Black-red, instant. Destroy target creature. It can't be regenerated. Demolition Field. It's a land that taps for a colorless. 2, tap, sacrifice it. Destroy target non-basic land an opponent controls. Its controller gets to search for a basic component to play tapped. Or not tapped. Put it into play. Untapped. And so do you. Then both players shuffle their library. Command Tower. Taps for your commander's color identity. We all know what it is. It's in every commander deck. So, you know. Twisted Landscape. This is one of the new cycling lands from Modern Horizons 3. Taps for colorless. You can tap and sacrifice it to search for a basic swamp, mountain, or forest. Put it onto the battlefield tap, then shuffle. And it also cycles for Jund colors, so black, red, green. Also, kind of handy in that it shows you which lands it gets. Grizzly Salvage. Black, green, instant. Reveal the top 5 cards of your library. You may put a creature or land card from among them into your hand, with the rest into your graveyard. Nice. Good in the Neoform decks as well. Yavimaya Elder. 1 green for a 2/1 human dryad. Or sorry, human druid. Human dryad would be weird. Whenever it dies, you may search your library for up to 2 basic lands, reveal them, put them into your hand, then shuffle. And then for 2 and sacrifice it, you can draw a card. Keep in mind the search happens before the draw. That is important sometimes. Bituminous Blast. One of the old Cascade spells. 3 black-red instant Cascade. Bituminous Blast deals 4 damage to target creature. This is one of the few instant speed Cascade spells that's still legal in Modern. Since they've banned the Bloodbraid Elf. Probably the best thing to hit off of Bituminous Blast. 2 red-green, and this was actually banned for a long time in Modern. It's only recently unbanned, like in the last couple of years. 3/2 Elf Berserker with haste and Cascade. Very nice. Eternal Witness. Good old Ewit. 1 green for 2/1 Human Shaman. When it enters the battlefield, you may return target card from your graveyard to your hand. Fun fact, this is my partner's favorite card of all time. Not this art, but this card. The original Therese Nielsen art is their favorite. So, even though Therese Nielsen is not. But she has the best art for that card. Savage Lands. It's the shard land for Jund, so black, green, red. Or black, red, green, rather. Tainted Woodland. Taps for colorless, and taps for black or green if you have a swamp. Very nice. Burnished Heart. Staple of days long past, but 3 mana, 2/2 artifact creature elk. 3 mana, sacrifice it, search a library for up to 2 basic lands, put them on the battlefield tap, then shuffle. Deathreap Ritual. 2 black-green for an enchantment with Morbid. At the beginning of each end step, if a creature died this turn, you may draw a card. I could see this probably being one of the earlier cards to replace in this deck. Arcane Signet. Since it was originally printed in Throne of Eldraine, it has become a staple. It's in basically every commander deck at this point, but 2-mana artifact, Tapestry Commander's color identity. Sir Conrad the Grim, 3 black for 5/4. Legendary human knight. Whenever another creature dies, or a creature card is put into a graveyard from anywhere other than the battlefield, or a creature card leaves your graveyard, it deals 1 damage to each opponent. 1 in a black, each player mills a card. So keep in mind that's any graveyard that he triggers from. So, for going in. And then for leaving a graveyard, it's just your graveyard. So keep in mind. That is important sometimes. This guy combos with all kinds of stuff. There was even a combo in Standard where you would self-mill a whole bunch and then use, I think it was Die Young, to put a whole bunch of creatures from your graveyard on top of your library. Grapple with the Past. 1 in a green instant, mill 3 cards, then you may return a creature or land card from your graveyard to your hand. Very nice. Dakmor Salvage. I love this card. Granted, I'm a big fan of things that let you do silly loops, and this is one of those things that lets you do silly loops. This plus Aggravated Assault means anytime you would draw a card, you can just lob 2 damage at somebody. Not Aggravated Assault. Oh gosh, what is the... Is it it's not Aggravated Assault. It's Seismic Assault. That's it. Seismic Assault. Red, enchantment, discard a land card, deal 2 damage to any target. It might be target creature or player. No, but... Oh, it's been eroded. But that plus Dakmor Salvage. A lot of fun. Especially with cards like Swans of Bryn Goal. It was a combo to use those 3 together. To use Dakmor Salvage along with Seismic Assault and Swans of Bryn Goal to draw your whole deck, basically. And then you just lob 20 points of damage at your opponent. It's lots of fun. From days long by. Then we have Accursed Marauder. 1 in a black for a 2/1 zombie warrior. When it enters the battlefield, each player sacrifices a non-token creature. And it's pauper legal. It's a fun one. Bloodbraid Challenger. 3 red-green for 4/3 with Elf Berserker with Cascade and Haste. Why does it have Cascade? Oh, yeah, I guess Bloodbraid Elf does have Haste, doesn't it? And then Escape. 3 red-green. Exile 3 other cards from your graveyard. Wow, that's actually a really low cost. This card's a little silly. I like it. It does silly things that I like. Broodmate Tyrant. Oh, probably important information. Jund is my 3rd favorite color combination. After Bant and 5 color, it's Jund. So, Broodmate Tyrant. 4 in the Jund colors, so black, red, green for a 5/5 dragon. Flying. Whenever it enters the battlefield, create a 5/5 red dragon creature token with flying, and then it has Encore. 5 black, green, or black, red, green. I think Encore is the one where you can exile it from your graveyard to put a token of it into play, but I don't 100% remember. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong on that, please. I don't want anyone to get the wrong idea. Tempt with Mayhem. 1 red instant. Tempting Offer. Choose target instant or sorcery spell. Each opponent may copy that spell and may choose new targets for the copy they control. You copy that spell once plus an additional time for each opponent who copied the spell this way. You may choose new targets for the copies you control. Ooh, that's interesting. It's almost like Demonstrate, but you can do it multiple times. That's really neat. Gluttonous Hellkite. XX black, red, green for a 3/3 dragon. Whenever you cast this spell, each player sacrifices X creatures. Gluttonous Dragon enters the battlefield with 2 +1/+1 counters on it for each creature sacrificed this way. Flying Trample. That's pretty sweet. It is potentially master, like it's a undercosted 3/3 Flying Trample for 3. Like it's an undercosted 3/3 Flying Trample on its own, and then it's a removal spell on top of that if you set it up right. Pyrogoyf, 3 and a red. I've seen this played in Vintage Cube already. Its power is equal to the number of card types among cards in all graveyards, and its toughness is equal to that number +1. Whenever it or another Lurgoyf creature enters the battlefield under your control, that creature deals damage equal to its power to any target. That is really sweet. Now, why they didn't just put this in Modern Horizons 3, I don't know. It's a little silly to have a Lurgoyf theme, like sub-theme in the set and not include something like this, because this is just cool. Like, I would totally play a Jund, Lurgoyf deck because of this card in Modern, but apparently that's just not cool enough. I get a little annoyed with the decision to put things in Commander instead of in the relevant sets for things, especially with Modern Horizons 3, because I mean, come on, it's a Modern Horizons set. All of these cards should have been Modern legal that they printed for this. Like, why print cards for a Modern Horizons set that aren't going to be Modern legal? Like, it's just dumb. Like, ooh, we gotta get the Commander money. Ooh, no. Come on. Alright, I'll get off my soapbox. Polygoyf, 2 and a green for a Goyf. Trample, Myriad. Its power is equal to the number of card types among all cards in all graveyards, and its toughness is equal. Yeah, it's Tarmogoyf. Baragoyf. It's another Goyf. It's another Tarmogoyf. 2 and a black for an X +1. Lurgoyf with Death Touch and Lifelink. We all know what the power and toughness equal. Play now. When it deals combat damage to a player, you may mill that many cards. If you do, you may put a creature card from among them into your hand. Ooh, that's pretty cool. And if you're making everything into Lurgoyfs. Ooh. Oh, what was that one's name? Oh, I used to play it so much back in the day. It wasn't... There's 2 different ones that I'm trying to think of. There was a cycle of Lurgoyfs back in Judgment? Not Tempest. Judgment? Well, I mean, there was one in Ice Age, which was the original Lurgoyf. Terravor. That's it. Terravor, Necrovor, Magnivore. Magnivore and Terravor both were played in a couple of decks. So I would play... I played blue-red Magnivore for several years. Both as a standard deck and as an early modern deck. And I played Terravor in some extended decks, and also in standard. And a variant of Rock. A lot of fun. So much fun. Sawhorn Nemesis. 3 and a red for a 2/4 dinosaur. When it enters the battlefield, choose a player. If a source would deal damage to the chosen player, or a permanent they control, it deals double that damage instead. Okay. So targeted Furnace of Wrath. Infested Thrinax. 3 black-green for a 4/4 lizard with flash. When it enters the battlefield, until end of turn, whenever a non-token creature you control dies, create a number of 1/1 green sapling creature tokens equal to that player's power. Or creature's power. Not player. Creature's power. Players don't have power. Well, some of us do, but it's a different thing. Final Act. This is not Black Farewell. Say it with me. This is not Black Farewell. being able to remove enchantments and artifacts is one of the reasons why Farewell is so good. Also, this destroys instead of exiling. This is not Black Farewell. Say it in the comments. This is not Black Farewell. I've had so many people be like, it's Black Farewell, it's Black Farewell. No, it does different things. It's not the same. It's not quite as good, although getting rid of Planeswalkers is pretty awesome. But choose one or more. So it's a sorcery for 4 black. Choose one or more. Destroy all creatures, Planeswalkers, battles, exile all graveyards. That's the one thing that's the same as Farewell. And each opponent loses all counters. Now, sometimes you want that to happen. Sometimes you don't. Like if... That says opponents, not players, opponents. So, if you have poison counters, this does not solve your problem. Alright. Siege Gang Lieutenant. 3 in a red for a 2/2 goblin. Lieutenant, at the beginning of combat on your turn, if you control your commander, create 2 1/1 red goblin creature tokens. Those tokens gain haste until end of turn. 2. Sacrifice a goblin. Siege Gang Lieutenant deals 1 damage to any target. So he gets reinforcements. If you have a commander. Oh, this hurts. This hurts my heart so much. This makes me so sad. Tarmogoyf Nest. 2 in a green for Kindred enchantment, Lurgoyf Aura. So Kindred is what used to be tribal. They decided to rename it. I believe they errated some of the cards, but I think tribal made more sense, but it is what it is. Enchant Land. Enchanted Land has 1 in a green tap, create a Tarmogoyf token. So Tarmogoyf has been relegated to being a token. One of the most expensive creatures ever printed is now a token because of power creep. Think about that for a minute. It's sad. Exterminator Magmarch. 2 black-red for a 5/3 artifact creature, Phyrexian Construct. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell that targets only a single non-land permanent an opponent controls, if another opponent controls 1 or more non-land permanents that spell could target, choose one of those permanents. Copy that spell. The copy targets the chosen permanent. 1 in a black, regenerate it. I haven't seen regenerate on a new creature in a while. That's kind of cool. Liliana, Death's Majesty. 3 black for a 5 loyalty legendary planeswalker Liliana. +2, create a 2/2, or sorry, not +2, +1. Create a 2/2 black zombie creature token, mill 2 cards. It's a lot of 2s coming off of a 1. -3, return a target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. That creature is a black zombie in addition to its other colors and types. Which is what a lot of people used it for when it was in standard. Like this was just a reanimate card. -7, destroy all non-zombie creatures. Destroy all humans. No, all non-zombie creatures. Hey, Maelstrom Pulse. Haven't seen you in a while, buddy. We used to be good friends. 1 black-green, sorcery, destroy target non-land permanent and all other permanents with the same name as that permanent. It's good. It's a good card. It's not as good as it used to be, but it is a good card. Hey, Junji, the Midnight Sky. This card is actually in standard right now. 3 black for a 5/5 legendary creature, Dragon Spirit with Flying and Menace. Whenever Junji the Midnight Sky dies, choose 1. Each opponent discards 2 cards and loses 2 life. Or put target non-dragon creature card from your graveyard onto the battlefield under your control, you lose 2 life. It's a good one. Also really fun to animate an Atraxa with that. So Garrick, Apex Predator. It's a big boy. I believe this was also the first, it was either the first or second Planeswalker that had 4 abilities. I can't remember if this was, I think this might have actually been printed after Jason the Mind Sculptor. It's hard to remember at this point, you know. Oh, I think this had to have been, because I think this was printed with Magic 2015 or 2014, something like that. But 5 black-green for a 5 loyalty legendary Planeswalker Garrick. +1, destroy another target Planeswalker. Yeah. He hunting. He's on the hunt. +1, create a 3/3 black beast creature token with Death Touch. -3, destroy target creature. You gain life equal to its toughness. -8, target opponent gains an emblem with whenever a creature attacks you, it gets +5/+5 and gains trample until end of turn. Rude. The Reaver Cleaver. I remember this having a lot of hype at one point, but 2 in a red for a legendary artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 and has trample, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player or planeswalker, create that many treasure tokens. Equip 3. Fun one. Temple of Malady. Milady. It's the black-green temple. Enters tapped. When it comes in, you scry 1, and then taps for black and green. Deathbridge Chant. 4 black-green enchantment. Whenever it enters the battlefield, mill 10 cards. At the beginning of your upkeep, choose a card at random in your graveyard. If it's a creature card, return it to the battlefield, otherwise return it to your hand. I mean, that's neat. Seems a little slow. I'd probably replace this pretty quickly, but it's neat. Colligan's Command. Ooh. I know its price has dropped because of all the recent reprints, but there was a time where this was almost a $20 card. Oh, how times have changed. But Colligan's Command, 1 black-red instant, choose 2. Return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Target player discards a card, destroy target artifact, and it deals 2 damage to any target. So my most common modes are to destroy an artifact and have an opponent discard a card, or have an opponent discard a card and I get back a creature. That's what I use the most. Love playing this with Snapcaster. Izoni, Thousand-Eyed. 2 black-green for 2/3 legendary elf shaman with Undergrowth. When it enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 black and green insect creature token for each creature card in your graveyard. Black-green, sacrifice another creature, you gain a life and draw a card. Nice little draw engine on a token generator. And if you can blink it, it's even better. Lurgoyf. Hey, it's the original Goyf. Originally printed in Ice Age. But 2 green. For a creature Lurgoyf. Its power and toughness is equal to the number of creature cards in all graveyards, and its toughness is equal to that number +1. Yeah, he can be a big boy. Selvala, Heart of the Wilds. 1 green for a 2/3 legendary elf scout. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield, its controller may draw a card if its power is greater than each other creature's power. Green tap, add X mana of any combination of colors where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. Now there's another version of Selvala that is a Judge Nightmare. This is not it. This one's actually really cool. Kessig Wolfrun, another card that was absolute powerhouse back in the day that's just fallen off. But taps for a colorless, and then X red-green tap, target creature gets +X/+0 and gains trample until end of turn. There was even a time where this was used, when this was big in Standard, and it made a splash in Modern for a little bit too. You would play this alongside Primeval Titan to just ram through a Primeval Titan. Archon of Cruelty. Ooh. Nice seeing that get a reprint. It's using Creativity combo, and it's one of the better reanimate targets in Modern. But for 6 black, which you'll almost never pay that price, you get a 6/6 Archon with flying, and whenever it enters the battlefield or attacks, target opponent sacrifices a creature or planeswalker, discards a card, and loses 3 life. You draw a card and gain 3 life. This is a huge swing in most games, and this card on its own can end games very quickly. So, it's a good one. Hey, Masquid Nexus. So this actually already comes with a pretty solid way to activate the commander. But 4-mana artifact, creatures you control are every creature type. The same is true for creature spells you control and creature cards you own that aren't on the battlefield. 3, tap, create a 2/2 blue shapeshifter creature token with Changeling. Funny enough, because it says blue instead of using a blue symbol, this has no color identity. It's a colorless card. So, otherwise it would have been a blue one. Grist the Hunger Tide. Ooh, that's actually a really good card to have in Precon. 1 black-green for a 3 loyalty legendary Planeswalker Grist. As long as Grist isn't on the battlefield, it's a 1/1 insect creature token in addition to its other types. So you can do really fun stuff like unearthing Grist. Or removing it with Agatha's Soul Cauldron to give loyalty abilities to regular creatures. Like, it's silly. But, you know, fun judge calls with that. +1, create a 1/1 black and green insect creature token, then mill a card. If an insect card was milled this way, put a loyalty counter on Grist and repeat the process. So, funny thing, if you mill a Grist with a Grist, you get an extra run off of that. -2, you may sacrifice a creature. That is optional. When you do, destroy target creature or planeswalker. Keep in mind that the sacrifice happens when the ability resolves, so they can respawn by killing your creatures. So that is a thing. -5, each opponent loses life equal to the number of creature cards in your graveyard. That can be a death laser sometimes. And it is each opponent too. Ignoble Hierarch. Ooh. So for a green, you get a 0/1 Goblin Shaman. Of course, it's a reference to Noble Hierarch, but for Jund colors instead of Bant colors. And then Exalted. So whenever a creature you control attacks alone, that creature gets +1/+1 till end of turn. I have seen so many people mess this up. It's attacks alone. If you're attacking with more than one creature, it's not attacking alone, so this does not trigger. And then it taps for Jund colors, so black, red, green. Very nice. Necrogoyf. 3 black for a X4 Lurgoyf. Its power is equal to the number of creature cards in all graveyards. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player discards a card. Madness. 1 black, which is so cool. Sheltered Thicket. It is a mountain forest that cycles for 2 and enters the battlefield tapped. Very nice. Mortivore. This is one of the ones that was in the same cycle as Terravore and Magnivore. But 2 black for an XX Lurgoyf. Its power and toughness are equal to the number of creature cards in all graveyards. For a black, you regenerate it. Nice and simple. It's also one of the few Lurgoyfs that isn't a X+1. Chandra's Ignition. 3 red sorcery. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to each other creature and each opponent. Very nice. That gets really silly with the Lurgoyfs. Viridescent Bog. It's one of the newer filter lands. Filters a mana of any kind into black-green. Find Finality. 2 hybrid black-green. So hybrid black-green. For sorcery, return up to 2 target creature cards from your graveyard to your hand. And Finality. For black-green sorcery, you may put 2 +1/+1 counters on a creature you control. Then all creatures get -4/-4 until end of turn. Very nice board wipe there. Mossfire Valley, one of the original double filter lands. Turns 1 mana into red and green. Ziatora the Incinerator. This is also currently in Standard. But 3 and then Jund, so black, red, green. For a 6/6 legendary Demon Dragon. Flying at the beginning of your end step, you may sacrifice another creature. When you do, Ziatora the Incinerator deals damage equal to that creature's power to any target, and you create 3 treasure tokens. This can ramp very quickly and get out of hand very quickly. So just keep that in mind. It's good to feed the incinerator. Canyon Slough, or Canyon Slough? Slough? Canyon Slough. It's a swamp mountain that cycles for 2 and enters tapped. Cinderglade, mountain forest that enters tapped unless you control 2 or more basic lands. Exotic Orchard, tap, add 1 mana of any color, and a land an opponent controls could produce. It's basically a reverse reflecting pool. Shadowblood Ridge, it's the black-red filter land. Filters 1 of any color into black-red. Smoldering Marsh, it is a swamp mountain that enters tapped unless you control 2 or more basic lands. So known as a Tango land. Temple of Abandon, it's the red-green temple. Temple of Malice, it's the red-black temple. Raging Ravine, another fun card from years of Jund past. Enters tapped, taps for a red or a green, 2 red-green. Till end of turn, it becomes a 3/3 red and green elemental creature token, or elemental creature. I keep wanting to say token. With whenever this creature attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on it, it's still a land. Keep in mind it retains those +1/+1 counters. Brawn, another throwback goodie. 3 and a green for 3/3 Incarnation with Trample. As long as Brawn is in your graveyard and you control a forest, creatures you control have Trample. It's a fun one. It's in the same cycle as Valor, Valor, Wonder. Technically, Genesis is in the same cycle, but it's a little different. Anger, Filth. There's a few others, but they all do something in your graveyard, from your graveyard if you control a land or pay a certain cost. Faithless Looting, so good it's banned in Modern, and yet they put it in the Modern Horizons 3 Commander Precon. Because Commander all the things. For red, sorcery, draw 2 cards and discard 2 cards, flashback 2 and a red. Rampant Growth, 1 and a green, sorcery, search your library for a basic land, put it onto the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. This is also where we get the term ramp from. Anger, hey, speaking of other things from the Incarnation cycle, 3 and a red for a 2/2 Incarnation with haste. As long as Anger is in your graveyard and you control a mountain, creatures you control have haste. This card has been getting abused by Reanimator for decades. Plural. Tranquil Thicket. Enters the battlefield tapped, taps for a green, cycles for a green. Nice and simple. Stitcher's Supplier. Great self-mill enabler. But for a black, you get a 1/1 zombie that whenever it enters the battlefield or dies, mill 3 cards. Very nice. Grave Shifter is a reference to the original card Gravedigger, which was originally in Tempest, I believe. 3 and a black for a 2/2 Shapeshifter with Changeling. It's every creature type. When it enters the battlefield, you may return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Very nice. Talisman of Resilience. It's the black-green talisman. So 2 mana artifact, taps for colorless, and then if you pay it for the cost of a life, you can tap it for black or green. Well, sorry, it's technically not a cost of life. You can tap it for a black or a green, and then it deals 1 damage to you. So if you have something like the One Ring in play that you just played, where you have protection from everything, this doesn't deal damage to you. So that's something important to remember. Altar of the Goyf. 5 mana Kindred Artifact Lurgoyf. Whenever a creature you control attacks alone, it gets +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the number of card types among cards in all graveyards. Lurgoyf creatures you control have trample. That's neat. Siphon Mind. Man, I haven't seen that in forever. 3 and a black sorcery. I think the last time this was in print was either 8th edition or 9th edition. Each other player discards a card. You draw a card for each card discarded this way. So, if you're playing Two-Headed Giant, this includes your allies, or any other one where you have allies as well. But it's effectively each opponent, but keep in mind if you are playing with allies that does make a difference. Talisman of Indulgence, it's the black-red talisman. Sakura Tribe Elder, Steve! I wish they would use the original art. I like it a lot better. But 1 and a green for a 1/1 Snake Shaman. Sacrifice it, search your library for a basic land, put the card on the battlefield tap, then shuffle. This was so much better when damage on the stack existed, but yeah, it is what it is. Terramorphic Expanse. Tap, sacrifice, search your library for basic, put it into play tapped. It's Evolving Wilds. Just different. Tainted Peak. Taps for colorless, and then taps for black or red if you have a swamp. Very nice. Riveteer's Overlook, also currently in standard. When it enters the battlefield, sacrifice it. When you do, search your library for a basic swamp, mountain, or forest. Put it on the battlefield tap, then shuffle, and you gain a life. Really nice with things that return lands from your graveyard to play. Riveteer's Charm, also currently in standard, but Jund colors, also known as Riveteer's colors, black, red, green, instant. Choose one. Target opponent sacrifices a creature or planeswalker they control with the highest mana value among creatures and planeswalkers they control. Exile the top 3 cards of your library until your next end step. You may play those cards. And exile target player's graveyard. All at instant speed. Pretty nice. Alright, Forgotten Cave. Enters tapped, taps for colorless, or it's not for color. Taps for a red, cycles for a red. Very nice. Path of Ancestry. Enters tapped. Taps for your commander's color identity. When mana is spent to cast a creature spell that shares a creature type with your commander, scry 1. Which matters quite a bit if you have Maskwood Nexus out, because it just means all of your creatures scry 1 when you play them off of that. Lightning Greaves. What a nice one at that. 2 mana artifact equipment. Equip creature has haste and shroud. Equip 0. Also keep in mind, it has shroud. That means you can't target it either. That is quite often important. Myriad Landscape. Enters tapped, taps for colorless. 2, tap and sacrifice it. Search your library for up to 2 basic land cards that share a land type. Put them onto the battlefield tap, then shuffle. Keep in mind this does not get waste. Waste is not a land type. It is a basic land, but it is not a land type. Soul Ring. 1 mana artifact, taps for 2. We all know what it is. Talisman of Impulse. It is the red-green talisman. Evolving Wilds. It's... yeah, we already talked about this. Same thing as Terramorphic Expanse. They are functionally equivalent. Lands. So you got Swamp. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 swamps. Mountains. 1, 2, 3. And then Forest. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright. So we got that. Disa, the Reckless. Who's Reckless? Disa won. This is the nice standee card. Nice and thick cardboard. Real cool. Is what it is. Alright, then we have a Goblin token. That's a Tarmogoyf on the back. That makes me so sad. Foil on the front, not on the back. Foil Tarmogoyf token. That's a Goblin on the back. Another foil Tarmogoyf. That's a Sapperling on the back. Foil Dragon, 5/5 flyer 1 at that. There's a Treasure on the back. Zombie, 2/2. Insect. Insect, 1/1. Zombie, 2/2. Beast, 3/3 with Death Touch. Foil. Shapeshifter with Changeling on the back. Shapeshifter with Changeling foil, 2/2. Dragon on the back. Foil Sapperling, 1/1, with Garruk Apex Predator emblem on the back. Would have really preferred a foil Garruk Apex Predator emblem, but you know, it is what it is. Foil 5/5 Flying Dragon token with a treasure on the back. So no foil treasure. It's kind of a bummer. And then the turn order and format reminder cards. You know, I'm just, yeah. There are more formats than this. In fact, this is made for Modern. They don't mention Modern on here at all. You know, you'd think they do that. Saying, hey, we made this for Modern. You know, this set is supposed to be for Modern, but the only thing we mention is Commander? What? Come on. But whatever. It is what it is. Which is some bullshit. Alright, well, thank you for joining me on this adventure with the Jund thingy. Let's see. This wasn't creative. With Jund Graveyard Overdrive from Modern Horizons 3. Yeah. As always, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff for the algorithm. It really helps out the channel and helps motivate me to bring more awesome videos like this. All of you, because let's be honest, this stuff is expensive. And I'm nowhere near monetizing this channel, and I don't really care if I ever do hit that point, but you know, likes and comments really make my day brighter. So I do appreciate it. Yeah. So until next time, stay awesome. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.